Okay, gonna do something a little different here. Trying to use up some of the vegetables in the fridge. So I'm gonna make some sauce. I just got some green peppers, some carrots, yellow onion. I do the mushrooms big so that the kids can pick them out if they want. And I do the, I always like to add fresh tomatoes, but I do them all different sizes so they come out big and small. I like lots of garlic. And I'm gonna make a lot of sauce so I can freeze it. Alright, so we're gonna start by turning on the stove. Put it on medium. Get that pan nice and hot. Okay, pan's nice and hot, pot's nice and hot, whatever. Okay, just some olive oil. Probably add a little more later, but for right now. Okay, oil's hot now. I like to do my mushrooms and onions first because I like them nice and soft. Obviously, I'm using a lot. I don't really go by measurements. I kind of do it different each time, and like I said, I'm trying to just use up some of the stuff in the fridge. So normally I'd use, excuse me, tomato puree and some tomato sauce and then some tomato paste and then maybe another can depending on how much I'm making. But this is, like I said, what I got left over. I'll put a little bit of butter in here. Cut on the counter, you know. Alright, so now butter burns, so I don't like to use a lot of butter, but I do like to add a little for some flavor. But excuse me, it's not going to cook all that long in here, because I'm going to be adding some more vegetables and stuff. Okay, so just keep stirring that up. Nice and soft there. I like to use wooden spoons just because you don't want to scratch up your pan. Okay, I got all my seasonings all ready. Now, I like to use fresh parsley. I usually use quite a bit of it, but we're out of it, so it's gonna go without this time. So now, so I just got the the mushrooms and onions in here, so quite a bit of salt because a lot of it's gonna cook off. Normally I don't cook with a lot of salt, but here I do. I like a little bit of garlic, some pepper, black pepper. Okay, now pretty good for now. You can see they're getting kind of soft here. Okay. Now it just looks like that because you know, all the butter and oil, but that's only because I'm adding a lot more stuff to it. Okay, so now I'm going to add the carrots and the green peppers. I like all my vegetables soft when it comes to something like this. So once again, stir it up, let it saute for a little bit. Now I'm not really going to add too much seasonings yet because I want the taste of the carrots and the green peppers and everything, so I really don't want to go too crazy with that yet. I want to season the sauce and not the vegetables, so I can taste the vegetables in the sauce. Okay, so we're gonna let that cook just for a little bit, nothing too crazy, because this whole entire meal is gonna saute for probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours, give or take, depending on the time the kids gotta get to bed. Alright, it's been a couple minutes. Don't want to burn anything. Maybe a little bit more. Them carrots are still pretty hard. Everything else is softening up nicely though. I think what I'm going to do now, while I'm waiting for those carrots to soften up, I'm going to add all this garlic. Normally I'd add a little sooner, but I don't want to burn the garlic. And I did want to get everything else soft, so that's why I'm waiting so long to add the garlic. Otherwise, normally I would add it sooner, but I don't want roasted garlic. I want garlic flavor. So, lots of garlic for me. Oh, you smell that garlic right away. Okay, give it a little stir. Now, as you can see, there's not too much oil and butter anymore. Okay. Now, if you want to make this really easy, you can put all this into a food processor, and you know, you're gonna have to cut everything up. So I'm gonna let that sit. It's still kind of on a medium heat. All right, a little less than half on mine. Not much, but I'll turn it down in a little bit. But for right now, I'll saute a little bit. Don't forget to keep stirring. Now you go as soft as you want on the vegetables, obviously, but I like mine pretty soft. So right now I'll get them relatively soft because they're going to cook quite a bit more. Now sometimes what I'll do is I'll take all this vegetables out and I'll put them on a plate, and then I'll throw some chopped meat in here. I'll saute up the chopped meat just until most of the pink is gone, but not quite all of it. You know, chop it up really good as it's cooking up. You just keep going, keep chopping, and then you throw all the vegetables back in, and then you throw the sauce in. But we're not going to do meat sauce today. You smell that garlic starting to cook off now. Trying to change the smell. And keep stirring it up so everything cooks evenly, nothing burns. But don't be afraid to let it cook. Okay, so it's been sauteing for just about 5 minutes, not very long. So I think we're right to where I want it, because I don't want my mushrooms to get too soft, because like I said, everything's going to continue to cook. If I'm repeating myself, I apologize, because I keep hitting pause. So for you it's a couple seconds later, and for me it's a couple minutes later. Okay, so now I'm going to take all these tomatoes, throw them in there. Now tomatoes I don't like to throw in until I'm putting in the sauce, because they're going to get super soft and then you won't have any big chunks of tomato, and I like big chunks of tomato. So now, can of sauce. Okay, I would normally do some puree, but this is diced, but they've been soaking. They're not really going to be very big pieces, much at all by the time it's all done. Okay, so now a can of tomato paste. Now I like mine kind of thick, so some people are only going to use a half, maybe 3/4 of a can. I'll add it all, and then I can always add more sauce or water later if I decide. So I'm going to need another hand to do that. Okay, so now you can see all the tomato paste in there. Tomato sauce, diced tomatoes. Oh, give it a nice stir. Now obviously yours isn't going to be this chunky, and neither of mine once it cooks off, but I'm also cooking for 6 children and 2 adults. Well, I guess you could say 4 of my children, 2 of which are adults, and then me and my wife. So there's going to be quite a bit of people. And it looks very thick, so we're going to add another can of tomato sauce. Okay. Another can of sauce. This is the only other one we had. So give it another good stir. Okay, now a lot of this is going to cook off. So I'm gonna add a glass of water. I'm adding a tall glass of water. This is probably 12 ounces, because a lot of it's gonna cook off. I'm making sauce, and I can always cook it off more, take some out later on by spooning the top. And I think we'll stop right there. So maybe about 8 ounces, which is really the norm. So I have a feeling I'm going to change my mind and add some more later, because I do have a lot of tomato paste in here and a lot of vegetables. Okay, now the fun part. Now all the seasonings. Okay, so this is some kind of, I don't know, special salt my mom brought from somewhere. That's why it's got some kind of weird pink tint to it. Like I said, a lot of the salt's going to cook off, so adding quite a bit of salt. Unfortunately, I don't have any parsley, so this is all I got is dry parsley, and it's still pretty green. Let's see there. There we go. Still pretty green. Unfortunately, it's dried. I'd rather some fresh parsley, and I'd rather more of it, but there we go. Okay, now some oregano. I know it seems like a lot, but there's a lot of sauce in there. Okay, now, like I said, I've been using everything up. This is only about 3.5 bay leaves in there, so we're just going to add them all in there. There we go. Okay. Some black pepper. You can use white pepper if you prefer, but not really into white pepper. It's kind of doesn't have that strength. I don't go too crazy because kids aren't really into it, and I already have a lot of fresh garlic, so just some garlic. I don't need to go super crazy. Some onion powder. Definitely some adobo. I don't know why we got the one with pepper when we always add our own pepper, but good thing I didn't add a lot of pepper. Now you have to remember that this is salt, so be careful. Basil. I know we added some bay leaves, so I don't really want to go too crazy on the basil, but I'll give it a stir. And we want to get it just hot enough so it starts simmering. And then as soon as it starts simmering, I'm going to turn the heat down. Yeah, that doesn't look like a lot of seasonings. Now it's important that you taste as you go, because if you have too much of something, not enough of something, you need to adjust it because you want it to cook in. You don't want to add it later and the taste to be on the top. Okay, now I'm gonna stay on pepper. I added some more garlic, some more bay leaves, a little more onion powder, a little more adobo, nothing crazy. I'm good on the salt, good on the oregano. And I like to add some crushed red pepper. Now, believe it or not, my kids enjoy it more with this, and my daughter does not like anything hot. So as long as I'm moderate with this, it really just seems to give it a nice flavor. Okay, see, nothing crazy. All right, just a little bit of spice. And now, if you add a little bit, and you taste it later on, it seems like you did too much, just add a little bit of sugar to it. I don't really like to add sugar to my sauce too much, though. If I do, it's not much, just to cut down the acidity. So now what we're going to do is wait till that starts blowing air through it. As a matter of fact, put a top on it. Oh, one more thing I forgot to do. I wanted to add a little bit more olive oil for flavor. I don't know why I'm shaking it. Okay, because once again, just finish off the bottle. But this is something you can always take a spoon and ladle it off the top later on if it's too much for you. But I like to get it into the flavor of the sauce. You'll see it'll start to separate later. But we're gonna put the top on this and we're gonna let it go for a little bit and see how crazy it simmers, and then adjust the heat as needed. Okay, it's been just a couple minutes. You can already smell. It smells